Good afternoon. Well, hope you're all making money. Actually, markets are pretty nice. Things are moving along quite well. December 13, 2017. I did younger. Monkey's awesome today. Thanks, JD. And hello, how are you? Actually, these markets are pretty good. Between now and Christmas, I have hope just after Christmas or just before or somewhere in there. I don't want to hope. I think we're going to see a replay of 2 years ago, but we'll see because I have been wrong before, like recently. Anyway, I hope all is well. I'm sitting in paradise with cloudy, but it's warm outside. I think it's probably around 25, 26 Celsius. Going to go for a dive after this. Tonight, so broken record time again. Tonight, I'm finishing my stuff that I've been promising. Last night, I actually, the night before we had worked all night on it, went really well. Then we were going to publish it last night. Then we had a major server crash last night. And I don't think it's going to be repairable. News, so in oil, EIA report today, 10:30. Epic hit the target to the minute and cent, like perfect. Actually, they've been hitting really well. So where is oil here? So right there, right to the penny. Now it cruised through before the middle of the target, and then it bounced back up to hit the. That's something that turns me on. CPAH went for a ride. I posted to watch for that 200 MA. It did in fact get way above, and then it revisited it, and I'm not sure where it's sitting right now, but anyway, you always want to watch those. Any other news? Trades have been, any trades that I have done well lately. Gold, this is one of mine that are slightly underwater. Not much now, though. Anyway, it popped at the quad, right in the cradle of the quad here. There's a much bigger time cycle, inverse apex coming. So it might go down into there, and that's the big test as far as I'm concerned. If it fails that one, I don't know what I'll do. But I put a few things on here about my job and what we do here because some folks, just newer folks, asking me kinds of. I thought, well, I may as well just kill it my feed. In my opinion, this is a really big deal. So the ICOs and funding, and that's going to be our next journey, late 2018. So as we're done, the models themselves. So these are models here. This is what I do. So as we finish these models, which is something we're supposed to have done by Christmas, 7 main models, and then our swing trading and day trading. But as we're done those, next year we're going into coding, and then after the coding, as we go through 2018, our hedge fund or our capital fund, hedge fund isn't specifically the right terminology for it, but anyway, our fund, a private fund or capital fund, whatever you want to call it, it's a very decentralized fund, and we haven't announced what the business model is yet, but we're going to early in January. That's exciting, and the algorithms, of course, the machine coding, the A side of it, intelligent, unquote, Google it. That's cool, but we have big plans in the ICO business starting to move into it late 2018 for 2019, and tied to international microfinancing and crypto and different things. So we've got big plans. We'll see if we kind of marched out the first year, even though not everything is getting done according to schedule. If you look at it from a year perspective, everything that we said we would do, we're getting finished. So anyway, we're getting to the end of our first year. Bitcoin going mainstream, yep. next year is going to be massive in crypto, massive. Like you think about how many people are actually in it right now. I had a dinner last night and I explained to the dinner with that, in 3 years, you're going to have 3 neighbors, groups of neighbors. One neighbor got in, one neighbor, sat out, and one neighbor got whacked in it. And that'll be, the threes. Right now, I don't know what the numbers are, but I would guess 1 to 1% are in it that are going to be in it. So next Thanksgiving, if you look at what happened this Thanksgiving, next Thanksgiving will probably be 100 times. This Christmas should be pretty exciting. Which, by the way, we're getting ready for major crypto activity over Christmas. And that's including all the various coins, and then ETH and LTC we're charting right now, getting those ready, getting our accounts ready, and so we expect a big Christmas season. We are going to be running a little bit of a sale over Christmas because everything will be done, all our models will be done, and then of course big price increases are coming in early January. What else? This is a really, really interesting thread. It's about moving money in and out, and Interactive Brokers now is going to allow the whales to short. That's a big deal. So this is all, this is all real fluid, big deal stuff. It doesn't look big, but it's big. And then this is big. This is, this is hard to miss, but this is big. Christmas next year, I think we'll look back and see this as the key inflection in 2018 crypto trade and related trading models and coding rollout. And what it is what I'm saying is key there is the rotation of the money through these coins as that swath widens up. I think the structure of the algorithmic modeling, because I'm starting to model, ETH, LTC, and others, I think that structure of that whole swath is going to be easily mirrored into others. In other words, the scaling of the models and the coding, I think, will be very quick. So low barrier to entry for us. The biggest barrier of entry for other folks and what we do is getting the black box component of it, and I explained that kind of in my tweets this morning. We don't do anything much special in change oil and prepare, charts and signals and stuff for people that otherwise don't have the time or just don't want to pay for it. But the black box part is not easily accessible. So yeah, so that's kind of the updates. I think that's all that's going on out there. The oil trading room, it might take until Sunday night to get the thing up. That server is completely crashed, and so it's a matter of airplanes and how fast they can get me my equipment. Because of course here on the island I just can't get the right equipment. I think that's it. I'm not too sure how all these longs, like all these institutional people in oil, are going to handle the fact that they're so sided. Renaissance, by the way, if you've never read their story, you should read it. It has a lot to do with how we model our charts. I think that about covers it, but there's lots going on there. Okay, so I've taken enough time announcements. Lately I haven't done a lot of announcements. I thought, well, I better clean up some of it. We're getting to the end of the year. Make sure the tone gets set properly. I guess I should start with oil because it did hit the target. It did come off. Right now it's getting right now, like right where it is on the chart. I can't bring up the oil algorithmic model chart simply because of our server issues. But anyway, this is really close to a support. So if the bulls are still buying, they're probably going to buy right here. This is probably where it's going to get its lift. But it has, the reason I'm not long yet is So we'll call that 56.58 on US oil, WTI, FX, right? So you got to add a cents there for CL, but you know, on the intraday, there's a time cycle beyond the one that just expired when the target got hit. There's another time cycle, an intraday time cycle at 3:30 today, and the potential price there in the model. Well, there's one at 56.83 on US oil, so 56.35 on CL. So another, you know, 30 cents down, 32 cents. And then there's actually another one below it that is possible, unlikely, at 56.05 or 56.07, 56.08 on CL. So I am going to take an intraday long, but that 3:30 time cycle freaks me out, and I'm probably not going to be here when that expires. I'll probably be underwater, salty ocean water. Then there's two other time cycles expiring in oil that are interesting coming up. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. and a fairly decent one size-wise at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. I think they're going to repair this, and it's going to get some long side trade here. I just hate to put people through the pressure. I don't mind the pressure, but I hate putting our sphere of influence and the different dynamics of our trading under pressure. And I should really not concern myself with that. I should just trade as I would normally trade. Which, by the way, brings me to OSTK. So that's what I've done here, is I've taken a very small trade, a 1/10th position. Could almost call it a 1/20th size position. An OSTK at 56.50. It's trading 56.45 right now. The chart, I really like the chart. My notes on it are in the room, but I really like how the weekly stock RSI was coming down, but price was going up. I like the fact that the daily has the MACD turning up. I really like that. There's the MACD there curling up. Squeeze momentum's trending up. Stock RSI is trending up. MACD is, you know, it hasn't crossed yet, but it's so close. It's pinching. Now, I took it at high a day when it was at 50.50. It ended up at 58.10. And, you know, so there's very possible, you know, fairly serious pressure coming. But I'm only, you know, I'm in 1/10 size. It's really for this type instrument, actually 1/20th, because if this does what I think it's going to do, I'm going to get really super aggressive with it. I think this is good to go in a big way going into the 1st of January. I'm just to be clear here, this is a play through to the 1st week of January, if it acts right. So I guess I won't get into the fundamentals of this. You can go and research. But the chart, I really like the chart. So there's some other things in the charting that is, you know what, like that 20 MA visit is very possible, 51.77. But even more, there's more possible downside. I don't want to freak anybody out, but like 48.50 is very possible. Oh, and then there was, you know, sidewinders setting up too all over the place here. So, you know, they were in here today on the 5 minute. Then on the 15 minute, you know, there's right here. It failed though, like that's not real clear. So that's an example, like some of the action is not clear. Like here's the 30 minute, you know, basically a sidewinder setting up here. Like that 20 pops through the 50 and it's go time again. Now it's not a big time cycle 30-minute chart. 20 MA to 50 is what I'm looking for here. So with this equipment that I need, what? Offline. Not offline. You guys can hear me okay, I'm sure. Why does it say that? Check. Yeah, you guys can hear me. So it's odd. Anyway, that 20 MA going through the 50. I'll set the alarm on one of my other monitors here. Hold on 2 seconds. So that's the 30-minute chart. Why does this 30-minute chart not look the same? OSTK 30-minute, OSTK 30-minute. What? The price is right, but the chart's wrong. Even the indicators are wrong. What happened to this chart? The time normally to do this, but this is important. AAOI through the quad wall test. That is sweet. That's a big test. Now the thing is, you know, it's getting up into the resistance, the mid quad or the next quad here. And it did back off, but you know what? It gets up over that 4160. Anyway, I'll stay on topic here. We're going to do AOI right away. AOI is looking good there. OSTK. Anyway, maybe Sartaj will get me set up so that this particular computer gets switched out with what has to be done with the oil server. Problem is I need like 8 or 9 more computers, and that's like, oh. Okay. Show me something good to eat. There we go. I don't know what happened there. That was odd. That's been happening with this computer. Anyway, so let's start over. The 30-minute, the 50's coming through the 200, possibly. That's strong. 20 already did. This is interesting though, the way this trades, because the 20 through the 200 should send it up, not cause it to back test the 200 MA. That's really interesting. That's opposite of conventional. But this is, you know, this is blockchain related too, right? So you're going to get some anomalies right in here. But anyway, the 50's getting to the 200. This is all in the 30. You know, relatively tight trading there. Let's take a look at this chart and really make sure we know what we're talking about here. So the 1 minute, that's a sidewinder. It's long, and you know, but it's a 1 minute. time cycle. So, and it's weak. So there's nothing serious there. 3 minute, you know, the 100's going through the 200. It's struggling with MAs, you know, so intraday here, it's probably going to come off on me. On the 5 minute, same thing, struggling with the 20 MA. Stock RSI is turning up, MACD's on its way down. So it's probably going to come off. It's probably going to meet the 200 somewhere around here. 55, 59. So I'll be off a buck on my small entry. And, you know, on the 5 minute, would I hit that long again? Well, maybe. If the stock RSI was at the bottom, the MACD was turning up at the bottom, I might. So my suspicion on oil might be coming true here, because they've taken, at least in very tight intraday, the buyers step in here. But there's lots of time to figure that out. Okay, so OSTK, let's go to another time frame here. So this is the 15-minute time frame. Now, anybody that knows how I trade knows that I don't like when price goes through the 200, gaps up and kind of does this instead of, you know, coming up and being structural and coming back to the 200. But it's kind of par for the course with a bullish stock too, right? So you got to know how to kind of read. Anyway, there's a bit of a sidewinder here on the 15. It did pop through it, out of it. 30-minute. So, you know, on the 30, there's a number of good things. The 50 is about to cross the 200. It doesn't get weak until after the 100 crosses the 200. MACD's turning up. Stock RSI is on its way up. Squeeze momentum's turned direction to the upside. That's decent. So the hourly, the 20 is already breached. The 50 looks like it's gonna. And when that 100, the 200, and then crosses back up through the 200, if price is above, you know, that's a form of a sidewinder. It's the weakest of the group, but MACD looks like it's going to turn back up. Stock RSI, I mean, so I've got my reason technically for entering it to begin with. For the long shot, the 1st of January, first week of January. But I've got my technical reasons on the intro to say I might add a little bit, like I might end up at 3/10 sizing. I don't know. And save enough room, you know, in my sizing for if it comes off at all before Christmas, I can really lay it down on it. Leg in. So that's generally what I'm doing. So, you know, what do we got here? A 2-hour chart. Stock RSI turned back up. You know, and time of day, and it's still holding up near its highs. It's up 6%. Four hours, really, really bullish. You know, so as you get out in the bigger time frames, it gets more bullish. Squeeze momentum turn green on this 4-hour. MACD's, you know, trending up. Stock RSI is not the best. It says, you know, we're going to see it come off. But that 20 MA, you watch that. See here, this is a good example because, you know, the 4 hours much more powerful time cycle than your 5 minute or 15 or whatever, right? That 20 MA, once it breaches that 50 on, you know, if that happens, price is above, it's going to get, that's almost 100% guarantee you're going to get lift, right? The 20 reaching the 50, because the 4 hours is going to be a bigger time cycle. It's got more oomph. So wrong. Oh yeah, I did that right. So the 4 hour is really good. The daily is really, really good. really strong. Almost couldn't be any stronger. And the weekly, I mean, it's got a pivot here. Like when you see this candle, you know that's basically a pivot. So your very worst scenario is 44.95. If you're in 110 sizing and you get 44.95 and leg into it hard, you're in great. So the weekly says that's your worst scenario. Unless, of course, fundamentally something, you know, shitstorm comes. Pardon my language, but stock RSI on its way down, you know, getting near the bottom, that's not bullish, but that's a good sign. Price is going up. Now that happened, of course, because of this big red candle. But even that, you know, like if we, sorry to park here for so long, but this might be like, you know, I missed the bulk of that VRX trade and there was no excuse other than the fact that I'm stupid busy. But, you know, this is kind of the same scenario. There's no excuse. So I'm not going to let two of them go. And they don't all work. But if this plays out like this, for me personally, the way I trade and the way I'll hammer down on stuff, when I do get notched into a groove on a trade, it can be like the trade of the year, and it can make my year. Now, I don't like how that just, you know, like, what's that? So let's figure this out real quick. I want to see if this retracement was technically there. Come on. So this is telling me that actually this is supposed to be up here. Oh, I see. Somewhere in there. It's kind of interesting, actually. So if this is right, then the fib support's at 53.90, which is a little better than 44.80 or whatever. I'm in at 56.50. If I've got this right, then yeah, oil's in pretty good lift here. If I've got this right, I think I do. I'll hustle up after this. Sorry, I just want to make sure we have this right. Oh yeah, see? So I took that trade and I didn't check my model for resistance right there. So I got major resistance right here, right where I took the trade. Silly man. So then you gotta say, okay, well, where do you go from here? Well, I'll show you. That Spanish music is just going off. So what we do is we take this here, go like this. This isn't going to be exact, right? But it's going to be give us an idea. So there's that. Oh, come on, stick, baby. And then one more, and we're done. We just do this, and we do this. Yeah, there's a lesson. Always model it before you enter a trade. And then but you know, the pain not a big deal because it's 1/10. And lots of time. On a 1/10 entry. Let's take a good look at this here. So this is the weekly chart. So yeah, it's alpha, it's trump card. What the hell? Why isn't this moving? So if we look at this closely, chart's just not functioning right. Anyway, it hit the resistance here, quad wall resistance. If you don't know exactly how I did that, just play back the video. I'll publish it here tonight. First thing I'm going to do is publish the videos when I do my paperwork tonight. So I do have support right here, 56.18. You know, if I get lucky when it works, because it should be, well, the mid quads here. So my real support is at 53.50. So anyway, as it works through here, so my upside resistance is 59.50. My support, so 59.50 and 53.50. Now, as long as it's in there, how this works is, so then you just draw a little triangle. So that's your trading range on later time frame. If this trades properly, it trades inside of here, comes out of here, and then it may sit in the, you know, in the bowl, the inverse apex of this quad in here. But this brings you to Christmas right here. And if I'm right, oh yeah, what to expect. If I'm right, you're going to see 77.25 on Christmas Day. I'm sure they won't leave the markets open for me for that to happen, but this is what should happen. There you go. Now, if it was super bullish, then it's going to come out of this quad and it's going to use, here I'll show you, here's your even more happy Christmas scenario. Had a lot of the people say to me, I didn't know if I should take you serious because of the way you talk. Okay, so then this is your most happy scenario. right here. And that's, the date on that is January 22nd. And the amount is 90 bucks. Almost a double. If I'm wrong, this trade fails at 41.13 if it goes below there. That'd be so much pressure, I don't know if it'd recover. I guess it could, but because right now it's just working through a retracement, right? And it should work through here and bounce to there for Christmas, or there for January 22nd. There's actually even a double extension possibility. If I'm right and this gets super bullish, your double extension possibility brings you up to here, 100 bucks by Christmas. That's very unusual, because then it's jumped a channel. I explained how unusual that is. Okay, I've taken a ton of time to show you that. I must be serious. And look at its lunch hour, and it's holding its bullish stance. So that's OSTK. Don't forget it. OSTK. OSTK. Oh, everybody has gifts, right? Different kinds of gifts. I have this one. I don't have any. I have a few. I think I have 3 or 4 little ones. The one that I do have is sometimes I can actually see the future. Like, it's not like weird future stuff. It's just like, you know, like this inspiration hits you. It's hard to explain. My family is like, yeah, don't ignore those when those happen. This isn't one of those cases. I'm just explaining. That happens. Okay. There you go. There we go. Okay, so I put it in there for you. I have high hopes. I really want this one to work because I would really like to go with bang in 2018, and I would scale into this very large. This candle here, there's a tell here. You know this candle, this weekly candle, you know this quad wall is dead spot on. Anyway, someday in the future, I'm going to tell you guys more about that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about this one. Okay, OSTK. That's it for OSTK. Even though my trade on the day is, but there's a plan, right? I entered the game. I might have to pay my dues. So oil, here's what's happening. So on the 1 minute oil, if you're trading oil on our model, the model tells you where you are and everything and pair your direction, which is really gives you time cycle targets too. So the black box of it's pretty cool too. But more than that, I use the 1 minute to trade alongside it, and if your washout bounce happens before the 200 makes its way down and all these MAs kind of settle at the bottom, that bounce is not likely going to work. So that's how you do it. And then once the 200 comes down and floats down, and it just kind of, the 200 gets itself under the price instead of the price getting above the 200, if that makes sense, then that's where the probability of lift much better. So what I'm saying is, the 200 getting down into this area of 56.85, 56.80, 56.85, and scooping itself underneath price is your first signal to go on your long. Now the problem is the MACD on the 1 is really high, and that really sucks. The stock RSI being really high, not so bad. So these are kind of your indicators. Your squeeze momentum, you'd want the MACD and the squeeze momentum to come off at the same time. That might not happen. The oil's to trade, but when you learn the dynamic of it, you can get super high hit ratio, and super high hit ratio if you're compounding your money turns into a lot of money very quick if you know how to do that. So anyway, that's oil. Now, I do have an alarm, yes. VRX. So VRX, I'm going to pat myself in the back. Oh, come on. Yeah, report a data issue. You guys never talk to me when I report anything. Not true. Okay, so VRX, I'm going to pat myself in the back really quick and say this just totally played out exactly like I thought it would. Okay, so now it's up at resistance. Wherever you see, you know, price bouncing and hitting a quad wall like that, that means it's so you know, bullish, it's crazy. But the problem is it's hard for any stock to beat natural order, right? Like there's a natural order to everything. Now, can it? That's how I beat oil on my short yesterday, right? It was diversion that I was like, I'm telling you, it's coming back into its order, and it did. It took whatever it took, a couple days. You know, and everybody was on TV talking about how good it. Yeah, I know something went wrong. We know that. So this particular channel here, so this is the daily chart. This, and I explained it this morning, so I won't take much time on it. But this particular channel that it's working through, and the advantage of algorithmic modeling is we know the channels before the channels are created. Conventional charting builds the channels around later. But anyway, the point is that up over this quad wall right here, that's actually divergent in a way that what price is saying is it's going to jump into the next channel up here. So this would now be its resistance, and it would go up channel. For that to happen is very, very, very unusual. So there goes oil. So you see how, so price is running for the 200 now, but the 200's got fairly low. So this is what you want to watch for. It makes it tough for the long. But on the model, it did get through some resistance clusters on the intraday and tight. So it's almost time to consider a long here. So I think what we're going to do, you know, all these different pop-ups on social and stuff, you know, like, is this your right phone number? Is this your right email? Is this, you know, just whatever, like, this is expiring, and like, oh, sorry. I just think, you know, I think I deal with 40 of those or whatever it is a day, and it's like, you add that over a year or a lifetime, it's like, you just stole like 2 weeks of my life. They're stupid pop-ups. Okay, so timing here. That MACD is coming down for me. Dang it. Stupid bulls in oil, like just stupid. Like who? Okay, let's set another alarm because I'm not buying yet. I don't buy it. 56.95. I'll set it on another monitor. Okay, that's well. We're gonna wait for it to. Oh, it's at a really tight intraday quad. It's at the resistance right now, so it should back off here. It'll probably go. So we'll see if that backs off. Okay, VRX. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I was dead right, and it's not very often you actually, you know, hit it like completely, totally on. So you gotta kind of pat yourself on the back once in a while. Wow, all those lines, they're all confused. What happened with TradingView today? Holy cow. Anyway, VRX, this is just, oh yeah, so that was me explaining it's divergent. But anyway, so here's what's going to happen with VRX. If it doesn't break natural law here, it'll come back, somewhere in here, maybe not, all the way to its retracement, not to, what does that say, 2031, maybe halfway, call it, right? So you take a half retracement on it, somewhere in here, 2144, call it. And, so I should really brain up here and get my alarm right. I bet it's not going to let me do it. It's when, people are like, too many lines and blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of explaining a little bit of what we do today intentionally because people only understood we could change the world. Okay, so that's VRX. COTY. Now, COTY, look at that beauty. So I've been alerting this along the way. So now you're almost getting too far in the move without it coming back in MA. But, this is better set up last time. So we just get into some Sesame Street really quick here, if you don't mind. One, two, three, four. Had 4 days. And how much actual price? So let's take that. And let's clone it. Just underneath here for a second. Because really, I should have taken my entry first thing this morning, like in pre-market, 4 o'clock this morning. I didn't. So let's say 1970. So another 70 cents. Did I do that right? Yeah. So if it comes off near low of day, and you can get a buck on a $19 stock in 1 day, that's a good return. I know crypto would laugh at that. But CELG. So oil did come off. Quad there. Would have preferred to see it come down to 56.82 on this chart, not 56.85. Really like to see that MACD come down. This is only a 1 minute chart. So we'll wait for the stock RSI to curl, and then I think I'm going long. It's not at the bottom of a quad, it's close to the bottom of a quad. I'd have to watch it tight. I would cut if it failed. Then re-enter later. So it just couldn't give me that 56.82, it gave me 56.83. So I'm going to load my long here. I like everything except for that MACD. And the fact that it gave me 5683 and not 5682. So there's stock car size. What I'm looking for is volume now. Here comes the volume. And that bothers me about where I am is they can just be a little loud. But you know, and the music can be a little loud and aggressive. But I mean, I'm part French, and French people bug me that way too. I'm talking Quebecois, Canada. Language could be really the cadence of the language. Not that I'm not irritating. Okay, come on. So what it's doing, waiting for that 200 MA to come down to it. And the bulls are being a little bit sheepish here. I'd like to finish midday. But you know, this is half decent trade setting up. Nothing huge. So OSTK, am I seeing that right? Yeah, look at that. 40, 57, 25, nice. So stock R size down, MACD starting to curl down. I just got 5682. They might even give me a little more. So look at that. So now what I get to do, hopefully it comes off here, is, and this would be nice. If I got to, anyway, we'll come back to it. I'll watch it on another month. So CELG, did we go? I don't think we did. Let's go through it really quick. See, COTY is coming off a bit. I really like this one. Just, you know, to 1970. Okay, CELG, did we do this? So it came up to its quad wall resistance, didn't break out. So now it runs the risk of this. So, you know, this is your trading range, but really your realistic trading range. I mean, that's the possible trading range. Your realistic trading range, because it is bullish, is like this. Right? Now, that means that your support's in at 105.80. It's trading 108.15. And it's probably going to make its way down in here and then pop or drop. When it pops, then your most logical target, 115.50 on January 1st. So we're going to watch that one. Could drop too. There'd be targets for that. I'm taking the time that I'm taking on these because I believe that between now and the 1st, there's a lot of opportunity here. AAOI, so it got into its next quad. Did I give you the targets there? So it's too bad that it didn't into its next quad up in here and pop up over this support that's sitting up in here. Because now it's got resistance. If it doesn't get up over 4160, you know, it could revisit 3914. But it's bullish, and if it gets up into there, you know, then you're targeting $44 real fast. This is a tight time frame, by the way. It's possible, but it's very, very possible because it's not over that resistance on the mid quad. That is going to see 39.12. So it's either 44 or 39.12 on the 15th. Okay, oil just hit support. See how this looks. MACD's still coming down. Squeeze momentum's red. So now I get to watch my indicators and the 200 slowly make its way down. So this is good. This is setting up properly. I was concerned taking that long position with that MACD like that at the top. That was not good. Okay, VRX, this chart's all messed up. Where's it trading right now? So it's still up there. I mean, it could do it. Possible. It is possible. I'd like it to just get serious and, you know, pop through the quad. And earlier today I gave targets on it, I believe. But anyway, we got other stuff to do here. Just want to get a little closer look. It's in it. It's in it to win it. That's really interesting. Really interesting. Now it did lose it on the intranose. Wow, super interesting stuff. Okay, you guys know what's going on there. So, OSTK, trading 58.05, high of day, 58.10. How do you like me now? Oh, I love when I snort. It's awesome. The embarrassment, oh, I used to go through when I was younger. Okay, this is cool. So this is setting up right. So rate's going to bounce and go to the moon. So what is that? 56.30 on the 18th. What's the date today? 5 days from now. Is that a market date? It's Wednesday. So what is it? The 13th today? 14. What am I looking for? What date? 18. So 14, 15, 16, 17. Monday. This is Monday. That's the launch pad right there. Monday. Where's my circle? This is your launch pad on Monday. Really? Yeah, really. I'm not going to get a proper circle. Here's your launch pad. Good. Go. Okay, I think you guys get it. I'll get on the move. So that's OSTK. We know what's going on in oil. Let's check it real quick. MACD, yeah, see, squeeze more. It's all setting up now. See how the 200 is still making its way down. So this would have been a mistake because you don't want the price to chase the 200. You want the 200 to come as low as it possibly can and basically chase the price. That's the best way to look at it. Got to get the Zen on for that one. COTY, like I hate to close any of these charts because these are all in play. Every last one of them. So I'm not going to. I'm going to have to leave them up. So, because there's decisions on all of these. I might take positions in every last one of them. Okay, so OSTK. I should probably get a better chart going on here. This is hard to see anything, but whatever. Okay, let's get to work. It's 107. Sorry, guys. Movers on the day. Charts you want to look at, let me know. So wins, WINS, that's funny. Don't know anything about it, but we're going to find out. So oil's getting its jig here. So I think I'm actually pretty confident in taking a long right here in oil. By the way. Yeah, buys are coming in. Sorry. See that MACD starting to curl there? Squeeze momentum starting to come out. Those aren't exactly being aggressive though. Okay, we'll watch it a little bit more. Let's try and get through some charts. So here's the daily on wins, WINS. I don't know anything about it. The chart is awful. Like I can't give you anything technically on that setup, right? It's bullish, I know that, but I can't give you anything to work with. CPAH, that's the one we talked about, counterpath with it on the weekly. AMEH, sure looks a lot like CPAH, doesn't it? Anyway, this stuff, I think you know me well enough that I just don't, you know, I might trade it for fun, but there's nothing I can give you here technically. ELTK, same thing. Wow, what's all this junk? Junk. FNSR. Don't even touch those ones. They're just junk. And I know I got the weekly charts up here. I mean, who wants that? This is all junk. DPW. Oh, this is a different story. Good golly. Like, this trades positively tomorrow. This thing could go anywhere. I don't even know how to, like, you can't do anything technically with that, but it's so stupidly bullish. Long Island iced tea. I used to drink that. Terrible chart. JT. That's funny. These are awful charts. MFIN. Structurally beautiful. Bottom play. Really nice. That's so structurally perfect. See, you see the problem how price is chasing the 200 and the 200 is not there yet? Like this is not going to be its bottom. It's just not. It might get the 100. If it does, it'll get halfway to the 200 and fail. It's a short at 550. If it gets there. But it's structurally perfect. SMSI, right up as 200 on the weekly. Structurally decent. Why am I working with the 200s right now? Because these charts are awful. I mean, why am I working with the weekly? Because the charts are awful. Like when you get into a really awful scenario, chart scenarios, because I had peaked at these, before I started midday. You have to consider the weekly because it gives you the perspective. And awful's awful. Doesn't matter what time frame it's on. This one of the batch is probably the best. CLLS. It's like it, but it's structurally decent. Probably sideways now for about a year. PPDF. ANY. Just awful. Look at that. ENTA. So this is that chart structure that's really bullish. Do a video on. That's something else I got to do over the Christmas holidays. I got to do one video for each setup I like and a blog piece to explain them. But right in here was your buy. Wow. Now you could actually trade this, right? You buy, close your eyes, set a stop, and hope in its breakout. It's pretty awesome. Wowza. Sheesh. BETR. Jason, it's 200 now on the daily. It's too early. It's not gonna do it. RETA. Terrible. MRSN. Awful. WPRT. WKRP in Cincinnati. Oh. Wow, this is interesting. Okay, so here's the deal. This one actually has potential. So what you do is your resistance is where it's trading at, which doesn't surprise me. It gets up over that. See, here's your, this is actually setting up. Yeah. Price gets over the 50. Money comes through and up through that 50 while price is above, and it's going. So what you do is you alarm it so that when the 20 is crossing the 50, it's go time. Now, if you look back on your chart, what makes it extra special is that if it then gets above 390, it's trading at 308. Ooh, that's a nice margin. If it gets above 390, or well, yeah, 390. You're going to see 550. It gets above 550. This is the cool part. It's going to double right there. No wonder it's up 10%. Got it, it's 200. Back tested, it's 200. Nice. Did its extension. Probably perfect on the fibs from what I can tell. Tests its MAs and bounces again, and a sidewinder setting up. You heard it here, folks. This is a good one, if it proves out. So 310 to, I'm going to model this one when I get time and get you dates. It's a triple. And based on this, your B problem is, like, your triple would take a year, but still it's a triple over a year, right? So you buy, you get your model set up in your fibs, and of course it can happen a lot faster than that. WPRT in Cincinnati, WPRT, WPRT, WPRT. Oil still hasn't got its bounce. Okay, so Bitcoin's coming off here pretty hard. Gold's doing better. Interesting. So I might get a buy-in here along with Bitcoin. Very, very interesting. 904. So I gotta just set a quick alarm here. Sorry, this one's going so slow. Okay, so Bitcoin is setting up for us. Okay, so that was WKRP in Cincinnati. Sweet. CEIX. Buy it and close your eyes. Okay. HMNY off 31%. At its 200. Wow. Is that tempting? Oh, look at what it did before. It's so hard to change your nature. Look at that. NAT. RIOT. Wow. These are really interesting markets right now. This stock eye turns down. And like I know we have traders short this already. When the stock RSI turns down, I'll short the living daylights out of this thing. I'm just not the early guy. Well, sometimes a little early, but short. Crazy. These are just crazy charts today. It's just crazy. Crazy town has started. Christmas is coming. That's okay. Nobody has any charts to look at. Offer the crew. Give me something good. Nothing, eh? Okay, well that's the deal. So just to recap some of this really quick. OSTK. I think I entered at 56.50-ish today. It's 1/10. Oh, MCIG. Yeah, no problem. Let's do it. MCIG. MCIG. OTC, correct? MCIG. Nice. So the question is, why did it on its second round end up being just a fractal of its first round? Like why? It's just one big coil on a fractal. So it's, and even its MACD did it. Even its squeeze did it. It's really interesting. It's totally a fractal on a coil. So does that conclude that it reverts back to here? This on the next one? What are the time cycles on these? So like if you took this August 2013 to the conclusion, well, it's really not the conclusion you want. You want the bottom. You want, so Christmas 2013 to 2004, so that's not bad. It gets a serious lift. So the time frame, Christmas again, early February. That makes sense because it's half. It's just a fractal. But both started at Christmas. What is this? cigars and cigarette manufacturer. So that was Christmas. So what happened to the Christmases in between? So that's 2014 January. It's 2016 January. Where's 2015? Right here. The bottom. That's hilarious. Right mid at the bottom. That's really funny. That's awesome. There's just a ton of symmetry in this. So now you're at Christmas again. But Christmas this time didn't bottom. What the heck? Oh, I see it. Now I get it. It's going to repeat this. Because it's at the same price at Christmas time at the beginning of its fractal. It's just going to do it all over again. So your fractal, your happiness range, so your Christmas present range, so this here who picked this color? It's easier to see, I'm sure. Okay, so if Bitcoin's tanking, if these markets are really interesting right now. If I'm right, that's one full fractal. And you could take this exact chart, so literally clone it. I'm just cloning the box portion. And you could move it over here. And if I'm right, it happens again, just a mirror image of this over here. I don't think I've ever seen a chart like this, where that actually happened. So it's got its 200 MA. I wonder if I can even execute OTC on these. Hold on a second. Well, I'm going to bring up oil just so I got it on my eyeball. What's the name of that? MCIG. I have so much firepower that. What's the volume on MCIG? I think I will see. Oh. I can't. With all this new firepower, I can't go OTC, so I gotta send a quick message here to Sarge. Also OTC needed on and okay, so that's now I can do it. I can do it on the existing firepower. My nugget's doing pretty good today. Jeez, it's almost back to my buy. That's hilarious. I should have hammered down. OSTK is doing fine. Not great, but oil. Oil time. See that MACD on the one? Buy. So I'm going to buy some UWT and CL. Right? Yeah. Okay, so this is either going to pop now or it's on its last test. So what I mean by last test, what oil will do is it'll send the stock RSI back down and it'll curl back up and it'll go. Now, if the traders don't take the signal, because that happens once in a while, then it's going to tank. Now, Bitcoin, this is a super interesting day on the markets. Gold is like right up at a resistance. Like it's strong right now. Oh, I guess FOMC. I should have had a long earlier today. I don't know what I was thinking. Or added long. The Bitcoin, it's really close to my buy trigger. In fact, it kind of hit one. Not perfect one, but it hit one. One before the perfect one. Very interesting. So oil, see oil with oil, it's doing exactly what it should do here. This should be its last test. Oil closes at 230, which sucks. Oil always does that to you, where it puts you in a position that it sets it up for the next session all the time. I gotta put in some kind of market magazine or something I gotta look at. Japan or something. Weird. Okay, so oil, we're almost there. Bitcoin, we're almost there. Gold, I guess for the FOMC, somehow. Oil, maybe that's it. Maybe this is waiting to go relative to FOMC too. Is that why Bitcoin's coming off? Ethereum is good. It's up today. Very, very interesting. Okay. OSTK is good and strong. So JD's play. So my conventional amounts. I bet you that that's what's going to happen here. Now, I might be wrong, right? Because I've never actually witnessed this happen before. But this trading range is a fractal of this trading range. The timing cycles are perfect. Where it's trading right now, price-wise, is exactly back here at the beginning of the fractal. And it hasn't bottomed halfway through, like it went from here to here and it bottomed. When it went from here to what would be over here, it didn't bottom halfway in the fractal because this time period would be half that time period. So it should be bottoming right now, but it's not. It's exactly where it was back here. So there's two options. It either should do exactly what it did here, or it continues the fractal progression and it becomes half move of this move. But I am biased to the first scenario because of the time cycles and the fact that it didn't bottom. This should be a perfect fractal, and should repeat, just so you know. What kind of range would you get? Whoa, triple. At least a triple. Fast too. 3 months. Or last 3 months, yeah. I think that's what it was, yeah. Just over 2, 2.5, 3 maybe. What are we doing? Oil. Okay, so look at that. They're not buying it up. This is all really curious happening right now. And overstock is holding up while Bitcoin's dumping. This is a really, really cool day in the markets. VRX. Yeah, see? It's hard to beat natural order. COTY, another 65 cents. CELG. And AAOI. Okay, so I think we can call that a session. I might take a long here. MCIG. I'm gonna start to leg into this one. So, wow, OSTK is at high day again here. I'm just gonna watch my oil play here on one screen while I do this execution on another. Okay, so select copy. So long MCIG, and this is an OTC. Legging in So I'm going to leg in 1/10 size here, pick my little spots. For setup, check midday review video from today that I will publish later. Okay. So I'm going to, you're welcome, JD. So I'm going to, not, you know, you gotta know I could be wrong, right? It happens. 4% at a time. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I think we got everything organized here. Now, oil. Just forcing this trade, is that what's happening in oil? But it's at, you know, technically, well, see, it's not perfectly at support. That's probably why it's hesitating. I don't know, is it FOMC maybe? Okay, so OSTK, how are we doing there? We're doing great. We know what our play is there. VRX, we know our trading range there. COTY, we know we got another 60 cents, so I'm not going to take that trade. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, because I had it. CELG, we know our range. Once it pops out of this quad, then we can, you know, take a look at it closer. AAOI, we know it's up near resistance. Gold, we know has a little bit of lift today, but the FOMC is on. And what else am I holding? I think that's it. Oh, Bitcoin hit a support. Well, the last support before my buy support had hit, and it bounced. So it's gotten away on me a little bit there. You'd have to look at the chart. The Bitcoin chart. I'm not going to bring it up. So super cool. Okay, so that was a good day. Did you have any others? Anybody have any other charts? No. Okay. What I'll do then is I am going to go for my exercise session, and because I am getting old.